Hi, I'm Rob, and what we're going to do is we're going to use DInject, and I'm going to write some code and explain how it all works. We're going to do dependency injection via source code generation. So the first thing, we've got a Maven project here. It's empty. So let's add some dependencies. So the first one, DInject. And this is the library that we have. And I'll add another dependency, which is the annotation processor. So that's the DInject generator. And it's an annotation processor, meaning that we can specify a scope as provided. It's what we can do, I guess, in a Java Maven scenario, and that means that it's not part of the build, but it's registered with the Java C compiler. So now let's write some code. Let's create a package. My app, that'll do. And let's create a class, and we'll call it hello service, and we'll make it a singleton, and we will say hello. Okay, that's all good. Now let's create a test. Let's add a dependency for testing first. Dependency, I've got a composite for that, so let's add that. Composite JUnit. Yep, I've got that right. Scope test. So I guess I should quickly explain that. It's composite, so it brings in JUnit, assert J, some other stuff. Keto. So let's go again. Go to test. Yeah, better. Okay. So now we're going to actually use dependency injection to get that hello service bean. So we have if you like, a global context called system context. We can have static methods on it to get the bean. So let's get our hello service, and that returns, I guess we call it hello service, and we can do hello service.hello, and we better assert on that. Assert that is take that away. Yes, please. I'll have that one. Thank you. Equal to hello. No, let's get rid of that. Let's see if we are rocking. Oh, no, we're not going to rock with that. Do we pass, please? Oh, we do. Okay, so that's slightly magical. Let's have a little look at what the heck happened under there. So we have under target generated sources. Under here we have some stuff. And actually at the moment this isn't quite set up right, so what happens here is that we can actually change that a little bit. Go in here, have a look at annotation processing, annotation. Oh, annotation. There we go. Blah blah blah, and let's enable annotation processing. Yeah. And eventually we will see here that this is actually marked as a different color and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to move on just a little bit, but anyway, we'll let IntelliJ catch up with that. So we've got a hello service, and it's annotated with @singleton, And what that means is, from annotation from DInject's perspective, that's a component that we want to inject. So we've generated here a DI class for hello service. This is generated. And if we have a look here at these last lines here, we'll say we're going to new up hello service, and we're going to register it with our builder context. And so that puts it in the context, makes it available for other beans to inject into other beans, and also makes it available to that system context. There's another guy here called DI Factory, and this is, we'll have a look at this several times, but this is where the special method here is create the context, and this has things that we build in, and what's in this method is the build order, or specifically the order in which we build the beans in order to satisfy the dependencies. So I guess that's the magic sauce there. We'll see that grow, and we'll see the order of that satisfy the dependencies. Not sure if I'm explaining that, so we'll carry on for a little bit. What we're going to do now is we'll add a dependency. So let's go here. Let's add a dependency. So we'll go private final my dependency. There we go. Doesn't exist, does it? So let's create it. Yep, all good. Okay, and we'll create this one as also a singleton. So that means, hey, we want to be able to wire it. And at the moment it doesn't say anything, so say let's see. Very imaginative at the moment. Dependency. That'll do. Go away. Okay, so we've got a dependency, and it's in here. Let's add to the constructor. Right. Let's change our return here. So let's go plus dependency to that. Right. So now we should kind of expect our test to kind of fail now, right? So let's run our test, because it should not say hello anymore. In fact, it says hello dependency. So that's good. That's kind of what we're expecting. Well, that'll pass now. And what has happened? So down in our generated code, we now have mydependency.di or $di, and this is our, if you like, our static method that builds mydependency. So it's pretty straightforward. Being new mydependency and register it. Now, if we looked at hello service, I'm not sure if you can remember before it was just newing it up. Now we go new hello service, and it's going builder get my dependency. So it's saying get the dependency, put it into constructor, and do that. Now the magic sauce is that we need to do this in the correct order. So if we look in DI Factory, we'll see two things going on here. It build my dependency first, and then followed by build hello service. So if we go down here, we'll see these are methods that are straight just here. That guy's that one, and this one's this guy here. Might just quickly have a look here. So there's some metadata attached to these methods, which is to say that this is just my dependency. It's not that interesting. Video is kind of in the way, isn't it? And then we've got hello service, which depends on my dependency. So we'll see this explain this information here pretty much explains the build order as well. Okay, so let's do another thing. What we want to do with serverland is we want to do some lifecycle stuff. So void init my dependency is starting up now, and let's do a post construct on that. So we might want to connect to a queue or do something like that, and actually create some connections, some resource. And similarly, we might want to shut down close those resources. So this is not. Whoa. My DP. Ooh. Is stopping. Right. Now we need a pre-destroy on that. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, let's run the test, and see that we see what we should see, which is that my dependency is starting now, my dependency is stopping. Great. What we did was we added lifecycle support to my dependency. So if we look now here in my dependency DI, before we just had the static method, which was to build it, but now it's actually also, if you like, a wrapper bean. So it implements bean lifecycle, which has got a post-constructed pre-destroy method. It news up, it wraps the bean itself, and then just goes in it and shut down. So if we're looking specifically here, we've got now two methods. One is to register the bean, and the next one is to register this life cycle, and we just wrap the bean, add it to the life cycle. So that's pretty straightforward. The implication, obviously, is that these methods can't be private. If this was a private method, we won't have much fun. Actually, we get non-fun scenario. It's not very good, is it? But it's saying, well, we can't call that private method, guys. So they have to really be package protected. We don't really want to go into AOP land for that purpose. So package protected is the way to go. Anyhow, I see I've got some interesting stuff going on here. Because I haven't got a parent, let's do something interesting. Slightly magical, I suppose, but you'll forgive me. I could set up Java 8 as the compile on this project, but the proper thing to do would be to set up as with a parent. So let's do that. Fact, Java 8. We want to be Java 8. Thank you. Okay, so I was seeing a warning down there, and I thought, well, that's not right. But anyway, we're all good. Right, running, all happy. Yes. So sorry if I was looking at a warning that was coming out here. Okay. We ran. We're all good. What next? The next thing to do is let's extract an interface. So Refactor. Where did you go? Extract interface. Okay. So what if you like smooth? Smooth. It's kind of an interesting one. Let's pull that in there. Okay. So that's. Yeah, I think we want to do that actually. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good stuff. Yeah, do that. Yep. Good. Okay, so what happened? My dependency implements this interface now, and I wanted to do that to show you what some other metadata looks like. Now, hello service. Oh yes. Now it doesn't take the concrete, takes the interface as its dependency. So that's kind of cool. That's what we wanted. Now this should all pass still. We should all be happy with our test. Should be no problem there. What I wanted to show you was some of the metadata that goes on now. Let's have a look down here. Generated sources. This is a nice little blue color. We're in the biz now, and that means that I can. Now we'll see. Okay, so what happened there? If I looked at this guy, the register now says register the bean, and the register it as an implementation for the smooth interface. And hello service is give me a dependency for the smooth interface. We only have one, so it finds the one that we want. And if we looked down here in the factory, we've got, it still just builds my dependency hello service, same order, no difference there. We start seeing some stuff here though. My dependency provides the smooth interface, and hello service depends on the smooth interface. So that's good. The thing that I should probably show you next is that we can obviously name a standard thing here. So, okay, cool, smooth. There we go. So this is now, if we had multiple of them, we could choose the named dependency and that sort of thing. So let's have a look at that metadata there. Here. Go here. Actually, we don't care here, do we? No, we don't. My dependency. We care here. So when we build my dependency, it's the bean. It implements our smooth interface, but it's now also got a name, which is cool. So, yeah, that's all good. We need to do something interesting with the ordering, don't we? Let's create something else. Okay, so let's create a factory. Factory bean. Well, it's not a great name, but you'll forgive me. This is a factory, and the point of a factory is to build stuff. So we're going to actually, we don't need to make it public. It's a very good point here. Public. So create a foo. We better create a foo. Yeah. New food. So we need to mark that method as a bean method. So this says this is a factory bean. It should have bean methods on it, and these bean methods create beans that can be injected as dependencies into other beans. Okay, so we've got a foo. We better have a bar. And have a great bar. They go together, don't they? Yeah, we better make a bar. Yep, thanks. Let's have a bar. Okay, so we've got a bar. Oh, no we don't. Now we have a bar. Now the other thing about factory methods, so these are kind of like, okay, if I didn't have that, it's pretty much like a provider, right? The provider, the standard JavaX inject provider interface, which we support as well. But most people are probably going to do this because, we can now inject something in here, like, for example, foo, or other things. So we might do something else. Actually, let's chuck that in there for kicks. Yeah. Better do something interesting with it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Untitled J. Right, good. Didn't really need to do that, but anyhow. So now we've probably got some interesting stuff we should look at. We've got a factory bean DI, right? Now this is a factory bean, so it has this method here, which is the first one. This actually builds the factory bean itself. So this factory bean, it doesn't have any dependencies yet, and it puts it into the registry. That's great. And we've got two other static methods here, and this is for creating foo and creating bar. And when we create foo, we just get the factory bean out of the context, and then we create the foo and put the foo in. And the bar, we get the factory bean out of the context here, and then we create bar using it. And bar, when we create bar, we've got a dependency. So this is actually pretty similar. We've just got this one more extra step here where we get the factory bean out of the context before we can do the thing, and the thing is now calling a method and rather than calling a constructor. So that's pretty good, pretty straightforward, pretty similar. In the DI factory, we now have these extra methods in here for creating foos and bars. They're a little bit different. They have a method instead of what do you call these non-method constructors, I guess, and depends on factory bean, obviously, and foo. So that's all pretty good. What we need to do now is move things around. We've just got foo and bar at the bottom. We should really do something else. Maybe we make hello service depending on a foo or a bar. What do you reckon? Maybe a bar, eh? Because yeah, that'll be good. Okay, so we got whoopsie. Okay. Yeah, bar. That's good. Right, so that's all good. So what I'm doing there is I'm basically going compile. Compile is firing Java C. Java C is picking up annotation processes, and that's generating the code down here. Let's have a look. So we won't have changed much down here, except we were interested in this particular part here. This is our magic sauce, if you like. This is the ordering here. We see that hello service is now at the bottom, whereas foo and bar were below that. Not sure how good your memory is here, but to get a bar we need a foo. To get a hello service we need a bar. Hello service needs other things as well too, though. I can't remember what. Oh, my dependency. Yeah. So it's kind of it. I think you're starting to get the gist of it, hopefully, which is that we create things up here. We give them at factory or at singleton or at controller. We'll talk about that later. And down here we have a matching DI bean or DI class, if you like, which is typically got our static method, which creates the thing, and it creates it usually using a constructor and gets the dependencies. Oh, this is the one we changed actually. So it's hello service, get smooth, get our smooth implementation, and get our bar. This is pretty much the static method, except when we have our lifecycle support, where it has another life as well as the actual implementation, and sort of wraps the bean itself. And we have that guy. And then where we have our factory, we get the additional static methods generated. That's it, actually. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot else. What have I forgotten? I've forgotten something, maybe. Not really. We can inject lists of things. We can inject optional things, etc. That's all good. That's pretty much it. Yeah, so there's some other things. Our service at the moment is sort of just getting hello service. System. This is system context is really sort of if you like, the global context. I suppose I should do that. Okay, so let's do that. Boot context. We can new up a boot context, which basically is saying I want to create the context and I want to give it some options. So if I just go load, that will load everything. That's pretty much what's happening underneath system context. But what I might want to do is, for example, supply some test doubles. So I can supply a test double in there. So I can create a mock of an email service and say, bring up my context with these mocks for email service, for database, for things like that. So that's like the Spring test scope. I can also do some other things there. I can do some restrict the modules that I load. So that's multi-modular stuff. I need to do a separate thing on that. What else have we got here? Oh, no shutdown. And that's pretty much it. So for example, let's just not do that for the moment. What that does is that gives us a bin context. And this is actually the API that's actually the thing underneath system context. System context is just like a singleton wrapper or scope around bean context. So this, we should open this in a try with resources block, because we should close the bean context, and then bean context just has the same sort of things. Get bean, hello service, for example. Oh, what else can we get? We can get a bar, can't we? Oh, yeah. Bar. So okay, I'll run this. This will actually create two contexts now, because this always creates context. It's then we're actually newing up a new context. It's kind of the same thing. So if I run this, we'll see two lots of starting and stopping. Generally speaking, we're going to use boot context and load this for testing purposes, basically. In sort of main code, what we typically want here is we go in system context, and we can either get a bean, but we can get all the beans that implement an interface or an annotation. So let's say we have an interface that registers web routes, and I don't have that on this class path yet, but give me all the web routes and then register them with something like Javelin or SparkJava or something like that. Or get me all of the beans that have an annotation, like a @controller annotation, like Rapidoid or something like that. Get all of the controllers, the Rapidoid controllers, and register them with Rapidoid, please. That's what we would do here. Alright, I think that's enough. Hopefully that was good. I will shut down the video now. Cheers.